So welcome if you're just joining me for the first time. My name's Julie Ford and I'm a self-taught artist based in Essex in the UK. I've been doing some landscape paint-alongs, and this session I thought it would be really useful to look at how to mix greens, because if we can't mix the right colour of green that we want for our painting, it's really, really frustrating. So understanding your colours is a really fundamentally useful thing to be able to do. So I've got several blues and several greens here to show you just how different the greens that you mix can be, and we're also going to look at how to make them look more natural, because you can use a green straight out of a tube, but it won't look anywhere near as natural as if you mix it yourself and you understand how to add in a third colour to kind of neutralise it and make it look like a natural green. So you may have heard the terms of cool and warm colours, and you might know what that means, you might not. So here I have a selection of yellows and blues, and I have 3 cool blues, a phthalo, a Prussian and a cerulean, and 2 warm blues, which would be a cobalt and an ultramarine. I will be doing more information on warms and cools, so give me a like and a follow, and you can catch that one when it goes live. On the left hand side I have lemon, which is a cool yellow, a cadmium yellow and a raw sienna, and a yellow ochre, which are warm, and Hansa yellow light, which is cool. Looks very similar to the lemon. But one of the other properties you need to be aware of with watercolour paints is that some are opaque and some are transparent. So you'll find sorry if you can hear that in the background, that is my dog in his water bowl. So in case you haven't heard the lapping. So if it's a cadmium lemon, it might be opaque. Yellow ochre is opaque. Raw sienna is transparent. So it's really worth knowing some of the pigments and their names and how they behave, because that allows you to get the real sort of atmosphere and look that you want. So why do we need, because we know from our colour wheel that yellow and blue makes green, but our standard colour wheel tends to be this sort of blue, and somewhere in between these two yellows, a sort of standard yellow, and a cadmium red, sort of a pillar box red. And when you mix those together, they actually really don't make very nice colours at all. They're all a bit muddy and gucky. So if we look at the colours that we can mix, you'll begin to see and recognise how to get the lovely lime green greens that you want, or the nice sagey green. So let's just have a look. So always start with your lightest colour first. So I'm going to start with a lemon, and I've just moved it out of the way here. Right, so I'm going to start with my lemon. So that's a cool yellow. I'm just going to check that you can see what I'm doing. Yes. So that's a cool yellow. And into that I'm going to put a little phthalo blue. Now phthalo blue is an incredibly strong tint, so it can be really, really overwhelming. But you can see there you get this lovely, lovely fresh spring green. I'm going to add in a little bit more, and it goes to this really, really bright green. So what I was saying about natural greens, can you see how this doesn't look like a particularly natural green? So if we want it to look a little bit natural, we have to put something in with a red bias, because on the colour wheel, and I haven't got one to show you, but on the colour wheel, what is opposite green is red. So if you put something with a little touch of red into it, and I'm going to put just a teeniest touch of a burnt sienna into it, which has quite a good red lean to it. You can see how that automatically gives you a much more natural green. There we are. So let's have a look at how cadmium yellow behaves with phthalo. So it's much more sort of orange. It's much warmer. And it's also opaque. So it's more of your mid-range yellow. The idea is that we want a little bit of blue in the one in the middle and a lot of blue in the one at the end. So I'm going to do that one with my phthalo as well. Tiny touch in the middle. Can you see it's a little bit more natural because this has a slight bias towards red. It's a whole science in itself, colour mixing. Natural colour. So my yellow ochre. Now yellow ochre is, it's a warm colour, it's opaque. So it behaves very differently. It's a heavy kind of pigment. So it doesn't kind of spread as well as some of the others do. Sorry, just wait, mix it up. That's better. It's kind of much heavier in pigment. So it won't run like some of the other colours do. And I'm going to mix that with my phthalo. Let's put another couple of that there. You can already see it's opaque. It's much, much denser. So we add a tiny little bit into this one. Can you see how much muddier that looks? But this already has a bit of green in it, a bit of sort of an orange tone in it. So it does give you some nice natural greens. So let's look at, I'm going to just show you Prussian with lemon. I'll find it, I've moved it. There we are. So this is a very, very dark blue. I'm going to put a touch here. Come back the other way with my lemon. See what a dark colour you get there. So that's quite a nice natural colour. And if I put a little bit of raw sienna into it, I can get quite a few different shades from those two colours. So let's look at our warmer colours. So I'm going to stick with the lemon for the moment, but I'm going to change my blues. So I'm going to go with my cobalt. So cobalt is this sort of mid-range blue. Touch a little bit into that. You see how it spreads? So every pigment behaves differently. So it's nowhere near as limey as the one at the top, and I need some more yellow in that, make it more green. And again, as I say, the lemon isn't transparent, so you get quite a dense colour. So let's now look at raw sienna, which is a warmer yellow, but it's transparent. So it's similar to yellow ochre, but it isn't, it's not opaque, so it's not as dense, not as heavy. And I'm going to try that with my cobalt. A bit more of that. So that doesn't even really make a green, it makes a nice grey, a nice greeny grey, which could be very useful, but it doesn't make the sort of green that you might want on your palette. So let's look at ultramarine. Now ultramarine is a very popular standard colour on people's palette because you don't want to carry around hundreds and hundreds of different colours. So I'm going to show you this one with yellow ochre, and I know people use this quite a lot for their greens. So that gives you quite a nice variety, and can you see how that's quite a nice neutral grey green? And what other one shall I do? Let's do cerulean, because cerulean also is a very popular colour to have on your palette, and I'm going to do cerulean with lemon. There's my cerulean. See, that's a very, very garish green, but it does give you a very, very lovely, fresh, bright green. Can you see it's slightly different again from our original one with phthalo? But that is not the colour of leaves and things. So you wouldn't find that green in nature. So let's put in a little bit of burnt sienna to give us a much more natural colour. What else do I want to do? Ultramarine, and done ultramarine and yellow ochre. So let's do cerulean again. Cerulean's not a really strong pigment, but I'm going to do this one with raw sienna. So it's still a nice yellow, but it's the transparent one. And that gives you a nice sagey green. So I think you'll agree, you can see how these could all be used for different things. But to be honest, if you have one cool blue and one cool yellow and a warm blue and a warm yellow, you can mix a whole host of different types of greens. And if you then add in just a touch of some of these, something red, you can get something even more natural. So it's a very quick look at colours, and I'm going to label these now so you can see what we've done, and hopefully that will give you some food for thought rather than reaching for the tubes of colours first. Give some thought to this. So this is lemon, and the first one we did was phthalo. And then we did a couple of ultramarines. and cerulean. Oh, actually we did a Prussian. Yellow ochre, raw sienna, lemon, raw sienna, lemon, cad yellow. I can't remember which of these was Prussian now, but you get the idea. Label your own and do some swatches like this. Add in a little bit of green, of red, something with a red bias, and see what lovely and different shades of greens you can get. But you really only need 2 yellows, 2 blues, and you have a whole variety of colours. Hope you found that useful. If you did, and if you want to get a list of warm and yellow colours, if you found it useful, do say, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share. And if you want to come over and join me on my free Skool community, I will be doing a lot more little tutorials in there for my free members. Hope to see you over there. Bye.